What's going on, y'all? Wanted to share a crazy testimony with you guys today. This happened a long time ago and I never shared the testimony. I was like, what in the world's wrong with me? I don't know how I missed it. So sorry, fingers in the way. So I want to share a testimony with you guys about me and my wife actually getting to preach the gospel when we were on a vacation together. It's a really crazy story. Anyways, what we did is we were at a hotel, and me being the financially savvy person as I try to be, I picked the cheapest hotel for her, Lucas, and I to go to. This was about a year ago now. About 9 months to a year ago. And when we did this, we had stayed in a super cheap hotel. Again, it was a great deal. It looked really nice from the outside. Even on the inside, it was really nice. But what I was not considering was if I am going to a super cheap hotel, then that means that everybody else who can't afford nice hotels are going to go there as well. Not a problem at all. But that does lead for a much maybe less safe crowd. And part of that was, it smells like weed everywhere in the building at all times. Sketchy management. They made us give them a $100 cash deposit. It could only be cash that they would give you back when you left. We never got that deposit back. So just some really weird, fishy stuff was going on. Well, anyways, ended up going outside one day because we heard that there was a live alligator or crocodile, I forget which one, whatever one lives in, not saltwater. And there was a lake, and Lucas and Hannah wanted to go see it. So they went out there and they were kind of checking it out. And then she bumped into another lady who was a mom, and her kid was out there. And Hannah tries to start talking to her, but she only speaks Spanish. This is just such a powerful story in regards to not letting anything or any excuse get in the way of your gospel presentation. So my wife really feels a conviction to talk to this girl about Jesus. So she pulls out Google Translate and she starts talking to her through Google Translate. So they're Google translating back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. Find out some stuff about their lives. They lived in, I forget what country it was, but it was a South American country. And they had to flee because of, I believe it was maybe military sort of persecution, governmental sort of terror of some sort. And they ended up leaving. And when they left, they had to come somewhere so they came to America with nothing. And they were literally living out of this hotel. They were homeless and they were living out of this hotel. And I think if I remember the story correctly, they had maybe a week left that they were able to afford living there. And the husband was trying to do some stuff to, make some money while he was here, while he didn't have his visa and everything. And, he wasn't an American citizen, so as an alien, he was worried who was going to hire him. I mean, it was a really big thing. Well, anyways, her husband did speak Spanish. So we then ended up finding out they actually were 4 doors down from us in the hotel. So, my wife gets me when I'm in the room, and I ended up coming out, and when I got out there, she's kind of explaining some of the story to me. So we get to talk to him about Jesus, get to preach the gospel to these guys. And then after that, we really just felt oppression on our heart to financially bless them as well, and to give them some money and show them, hey, Jesus isn't just about nice words and whatnot, but the gospel is a gospel of action. And Scripture doesn't say be hearers of the word, but James 1 says it's not hearers of the word that are justified, but doers of the words are those who are justified. So we want to be justified in how we live, not just in how we do, or live, not just how we learn. So anyways, we ended up giving them a pretty decent amount of money and told them, hey, this is from Jesus, be blessed. And we let our kids play with their kids. And they had such a great time together for the rest of the week. And they talked about how God literally, they felt like they just experienced an angel on earth, and that God literally sent a messenger that he knew they needed right in that moment, stuff like that. And I mean, she's crying, my wife's crying, the husband's crying. I mean, it was a really emotional moment. It was really powerful. And, none of that is of any reason to puff me up or show, how great I am or we are or anything like that. My wife did the majority of the work anyways. I got to do the easy part of talking to her about Jesus, but she did the initial introduction of the conversation and all those things. And the point that I want to get at, and I want you to consider from this is, when you're talking to people, first off, you can let any and every excuse get in the way as to why you can't talk to them. I'll share my drive-through story. I've shared it in little nuggets before, but I'm going to share my drive-through story here soon about me preaching the gospel to somebody through the drive-through. I've got a few of those stories, but one of them went additionally long in the drive-through, which is a really bad place to take a lot of time. And the other thing I want you to get out of that story is people have only experienced the gospel to the extent that they've seen it in their life. And if there's nobody in their life to show them the gospel, to be the gospel, to live out the gospel, Paul talks about being a living epistle. If we are not able to be that to them, then they have no idea what the gospel looks like as hands and feet. They know the concept of it. They know the whole Jesus died on the cross for my sins, but they don't know what that looks like. And that radical grace, that overwhelming presence of Jesus in their life in that moment that they would otherwise not have had experience if it wasn't for somebody stepping in, getting into the uncomfortable situations of their life and whatnot, then they might never truly ever come to Jesus because they don't know what Jesus is actually like. They know what the church says he's like, hypocrites. They know what legalists say he's like, Pharisees say he's like, but they don't know who and what Jesus is actually like. Sorry, you don't see her, but my daughter. Look at her, she's the cutest thing everywhere. But you don't know what it's actually like, who Jesus is actually like, until Jesus in another believer stands right in front of them. Christ in us, the hope of glory. We're imitators of Christ. We've been crucified with Christ. No longer us who lives, but Christ living through us. People need Jesus represented to them on a daily basis. And you know what started the entire conversation? Hi. That was it. It wasn't anything crazy. It was hi. And that hi led to these people giving their lives to Jesus for real by the end of our time with him. So really powerful experience. I hope that's been encouraging to you. If you guys would like, share the video, subscribe if you would, any of those, it would be much appreciated because it just gets the gospel to more and more people so that they can also encounter the same Jesus that this couple met when we were on vacation. Appreciate you all. Love you all. Chat with you in the next one.